Okay, everybody, welcome to the Viking Redzone report. We getting ready to gear up for our 2020 mock draft that we do every year for the NFL. I got Nathan, Brad Rose, we've got Brandon Grigsby, we've got John Bowser, we've got a lot of people that's going to help us do this draft. But for the next week, we're going to put out just individual kind of team interviews with some people that we know around that know something about the teams, just a few teams here and there. So we're going to start out today with someone that I've yet to have on my podcast, so it's kind of cool. He's actually not from Ohio. He's actually from Ohio, but he doesn't live in Ohio. So I want to welcome everybody. Welcome Roger Harrell to the show from Tennessee. How you doing, Raj?
I'm doing good, Lugs. Thanks for having me.
I can't believe you didn't say tighten up right out the bat. So,
well, let's redo it again, and I'll go tighten up on your
ass.
ass.
Too late. Don't count anymore. So. Okay, well, we're going to talk a little bit, obviously, about the Tennessee Titans, what they're doing in the draft. They have the 29th pick in the draft. But before we go there, let's talk a little bit about, just in general, the guy from Ohio, played at Athens. He's predicted to be the number one pick in the draft, and Joey Burrow. I watched him play high school. He actually played on our own Viking County football field. He was losing to us 6-0 in 2013. I want to point that out. We were a 5-5 team, and they ended up winning 48-12, but still we were winning at one point. So Joey Burrow is not an unknown to me. You've been down there in Tennessee, so you watched him play a little bit. What's your opinion of Joey Burrow going number one to the Cincinnati Bengals?
Oh, I think he's a lock. I mean, we've gotten to see him play quite a bit, being, this is quote-unquote SEC country, right? So LSU's on TV a bunch. Man, I don't know that I have seen him have a bad game all season long. I mean, he makes it look easy out there. I think it's a good play for you.
How do you feel about all the I mean, you hear so much about, obviously ESPN just wanted to bring up stuff to make it feel like he didn't want to go to Cincinnati. How do you feel about all the rhetoric that's around him that, like, hey, played for the best line in NCAA football, and they're going to have at least 6 guys go in the first round of the draft, by the way, not just Joey Burrow, but, you're going to have the running back that could slide into the first round. If he does, it'll be like 7, so because half their defense is going in the first round. So, I mean, how do you to balance that with the argument of Tua could, if healthy, be just as good a quarterback as him? Do you still think it's Joey Burrow?
Yeah. I mean, did he ever – how many incompletions did he have on the season? I think you can count them on one hand. I mean,
more than one hand, but I know what you're saying. Yeah,
he was automatic, right? And literally made it look easy when they played in the semifinal game against Oklahoma. I mean, that was ridiculous, dude. He looked like a video game out there. I mean, he just throwing the ball at will anywhere he wanted to go. Didn't matter.
So if Tennessee had the number one pick, you're not taking him? You're riding out Tannehill? Tannehill?
If we had the number one pick, I think we would be all over Chase.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All over Chase.
I don't know, man. Chase, I'm a Buckeye fan, but I didn't like him skipping the combine, man. Again, maybe I'm biased. I didn't mind Joey skipping the combine because I respect the guy that says, hey, I've just had too much media stuff going on. I can't put my best foot forward in the combine. But when a guy literally says, hey, I've already proved my point, I got nothing else to prove, I'm not doing the combine, that makes me back up a little bit.
Well, no, but I disagree with that because at the combine, Chase had everything to lose and 0 to gain. He was chiseled in the number 1/number 2, depending on who did what and who liked who. There was no doubt about it that he was at least going no further than number 2. So why would you put yourself out there for ridicule, speculation, and to let these people carve you up for every little thing that you've got when you know you're already locked in?
Well, I look at it like a Nick Bosa thing. You start your senior year at Ohio State, okay, and you get hurt quick, and you decide, okay, I tried. I was going to play my senior year. Even though I'm the locked-in number 1 pick in the draft, I'm locked in. And you start playing and you get hurt. So then once you get hurt, you kind of back up and you say, okay, I got hurt. I'm going to sit out the rest of the season. But when the combine comes, you're not a burner. You don't run a 4.40. You know, you're Nick Bosa. You know you're not tearing up a lot of them numbers, but you show up because you're a competitor. You had nothing to gain and everything to lose, technically. But you go and you show up and you don't run a killer 40 time, and you're still the best pick in the NFL draft, and you took the San Francisco 49ers to a Super Bowl. I mean, it didn't hurt him. Chase Young is supposed to be that much better than Nick Bosa. Why is he afraid to be competitive with the best people in the country?
Totally different scenarios there. Nick had 2 weeks of game film from what I remember before he went down with his abdominal injury. Season pretty much gone. Yeah, preseason he had the hype. He was off the charts, but dude, come on. I mean, he needed to go to the combine because he needed for them to see, hey, I'm here, I'm healthy, I'm good, I'm ready to go.
I mean, he was still
Chase
going.
didn't have to do that, man. There's a reason they call him the Predator, bro.
I'm not doubting his talent. I'm just look at it this way, and this is how I look at this scenario with Chase Young right now. Is okay. I'm your employer, and let's assume you run your business and you own it, and someone comes up to you and goes, "Hey, I got this really good employee, and he really wants to advance, and your company's going to be great for him. Why don't you bring him in for an interview and see if you like him?" And you bring this guy in for an interview, and you're like, "Okay, I want you to show me what you can do on this computer real quick, and I want to see what you can do." And he's like, "Hey, I've done everything I need to do with this other business. You either hire me or you don't." What are you going to tell that guy?
Well, that's not going to go well, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
But you're asking him that question because you have no sample size. You have nothing to compare it to. Chase is completely different, dude. He's got 2 years of film to back up anything and everything he needs to do.
I would argue that when you look at some of the bigger fields, especially Michigan, and against Wisconsin the second time they played, and I know against Clemson they said he had 14 hurries or something like that, even though he didn't have a lot of plays he made on the football field. In my opinion, whoever gave him 14 hurries was just saying, "Hey, you almost made a play. That's not making a play, getting a bunch of hurries when the guy on that threw that football still threw for 300 yards on you." Okay, that's still him making a play. You didn't do anything. So, I mean, in big games, he had some question marks in a couple of them big games. And I'll go to Derek Brown, who showed up to the combine knowing he's still a top prospect. And you look at his game film, and it's just as impressive as Chase Young's. Why wouldn't I take Derek Brown when he said, "I want to be a competitor. If you're competing, I will be there. I don't care where my stock is. I'm going to compete."
Well, I like DB too, but I'll tell you what, I'll take Chase and you take DB, and in 5 years, let's see where we are.
I'll be in the Super Bowl, and you'll be trading him off like Jadeveon Clowney and taking him off somewhere. That's going to end up happening.
Maybe so, but I like my chances.
Okay, well let's get a little bit to Tennessee here. Obviously, we didn't want to spend a half hour on this podcast. We're going to move on to Tennessee. Let's talk a little bit about, obviously, you made the playoffs. It was a good season. You went 9-7. You finished second in this AFC South to the Tennessee Texans. You get to the wild card game. You got to make you're on the road every single game. What's the mindset for all the fans in Tennessee when you go and you lose 4 of your last 6 games? You're not scoring very well. You're rolling into the playoffs, kind of limping into it. What's the mindset for Tennessee? Were you just happy that you were there, or is everybody hyped up like, okay, it's time? Or
no, we had confidence from the very beginning. Obviously, we stubbed our toe. We won our first game of the season, went on a 4-game skid, whatever that was, and rebounded. We have always expected to win, and going into the playoffs. I mean, if you remember last year, we went to KC and won, right? So we aren't afraid and fully expect to go into every game. We want to be Super Bowl champs, dude. There's no way in the world that we're backing down from anything, or we're not expecting to win every time we lace it up.
Yeah. Okay.
No way, no how.
Let me ask you this. You got the 29th pick in the draft. Is there any chance you're looking for a quarterback on that 29th pick?
Not at 29. No. I think that for us, and we've bounced around. I've heard anything from a cornerback to a D lineman. We we've got about 5 or 6 needs that we need, but I don't think quarterback's going to be early. I think we're good with Tannehill. I mean, the dude. I mean, he came into a tough spot. I mean, Mariota, if you think about it, Mariota was our franchise, right? I mean, he'd been to 2 Pro Bowls. He'd had some amazing wins, but really struggled the last couple of years. And the team, and let me say this, Mariota's awesome. I mean, as a guy, as a person, as someone you want to look at in your community as a role model. I mean, perfect example of that. But, man, the team just was not responding to him. You insert Tannehill, and then all of a sudden, man, it just light goes off. Different team altogether, and they're playing tough on D. We're running. The frustrating thing for us was we had really no passing attack at all. Mm-hmm. Still didn't have a great passing attack, but when Tannehill needed to make a play, he did. And move the chains. And that's the name of the game, right? Set your team up, get some yardage on first down, whittle away, convert third down. And they did a great job of that.
It's like a trick deal for a kind of clone, really. I mean, manages the game and gets you through it. But, I mean, obviously the heart of the team is Derrick Henry. So is that deal going to get done before this season? Or are you looking at playing this whole season with Derrick Henry being just a franchise player for 1 year?
I don't know. I mean, there may be some strategic stuff going on there, right? That prohibits it from getting done this season. But Derrick's went on record many times about saying he wants to be a Titan for life. So that tells me that the deal will get done. It's just a matter of when. I can promise you this, though, it won't be a distraction. He'll be ready to go.
Yeah. I definitely think he will be too. I mean, there's no doubt Derrick Henry's a phenomenal player. So I see Tannehill as kind of a guy that's going to struggle this year. I don't think he's the guy. I think he was overpaid, but I hope he works out for you. I really do. Do you think is there any chance Jonathan Taylor runs a 4.39 40 in the NFL draft, blows up the draft, blows it up? He's a Big Ten running back. He fits that style that Tennessee plays. Is there any chance at 29 if Jonathan Taylor ain't taken by then? That's your leverage right there, that you take Jonathan Taylor, you got your cushion in case something falls out with Derrick Henry, or even if you do sign Derrick Henry, you still got Jonathan Taylor with him.
I don't think Jonathan Taylor fits our scheme. He's more of a Dion. He's more of a Lewis type back, right? He's got some moves, he's got some versatility, but he's small.
He's power and speed.
Yeah, I don't see it. I mean, power is Derrick. And
Derrick's all power, yeah.
Derrick has got power, but Darrell's got edge speed, man. How many times, if you watch his highlight reel this past season, man, the dude could jump cut and bounce out on that off tackle for touchdowns. I mean, he must have did it 10 times, 15 times this past season. But I don't think Taylor's. I will tell you this. I think if we pick a running back, I'm going back to my roots. We're going with a Buckeye. We're going with J.K. all day.
I'll be honest with you. I don't know why J.K. Dobbins is ranked so low in the ranking charts, but I mean, obviously he didn't get a chance to work out. He was supposed to work out at High State and didn't get those numbers in. So kind of kept him, I think, from moving up and up. I'll be honest with you. J.K. Dobbins is a guy that probably should have went to the combine. Should have got there, and then he wouldn't be sitting here now with everybody wondering, just is he good enough?
Yeah, but J.K. was a little hurt, dude. I mean, he's still banged up. I mean, he had the ankle sprain during the playoffs, and I'm not too sure by the combine he still felt like he was 100%. But
you could be right. I didn't hear that he was hurt, but I'm sure there's a little bit lingering there.
He had an ankle sprain. Mm-hmm. I think when you look at the NFL and you look at different teams, right? You've got your West Coast teams that are finesse, short passing, do whatever they do. The Titans are really old school. I mean, we're going to pound you on D. We're going to pound you on offense. We're going to run the ball down your throat. We're going to manage the clock. We're a bruising type team. And I think when you think of the Tennessee Titans, that's what I think of. And when it comes to running back, I think J.K. is all that and more. So it would tickle me to death if that's who we picked up. And And hopefully, I don't think he'll be there by the third round, so we're probably going to have to get him in round 2. But I think that would be an awesome pick if we could get it.
Yeah, I think that it's kind of been that way with Derrick Henry his whole career. There's always been a number 2 around him, right? So, I mean, this is the first year he kind of turned into the feature back, and he still had Dion Lewis. He was taking a little bit of the load off, but not much. But
Yeah,
he's been there
and he's
before.
gone. We let him go. We released
Yeah,
him the other
he's
day.
done.
So
Yeah, he's done too. Okay, real quick, just one more thing I want to talk about, and you know, AJ Brown. You can't talk about the Tennessee Titans if you don't talk about AJ Brown. Okay, I mean, what he done this year was just absolutely impressive. You hadn't had a receiver catch for 1,000 yards since 2013. That guy didn't last very long. He was a big draft pick for you that kind of busted. It always feels like the Tennessee Titans are looking for that big draft pick. They even tried with Corey Davis. I know he's kind of working out, but he's kind of not turning into that number 1 guy. Is AJ Brown the guy for Tennessee? Is he the one that's going to be there for a while? Is he that number 1 you've been looking for?
without question, yeah. I mean, he's a beast. I'd be the first to tell you that when we drafted him, because if you remember, he went before Metcalf, right? And I really thought we were going to take Metcalf. Of those two receivers at Ole Miss, I thought that was the play for us. And I think if you pulled the guys down here, they would have kind of been a little bit of a head scratcher too. Really, AJ Brown or Metcalf, because that's all anybody talked about, right? Was Metcalf just measured off the charts.
Yeah.
Well, I, I don't think we could have been more happy with the way things turned out with him. The guy is just an amazing rookie season. Amazing.
Give it a little Viking shout out right there. See,
I
on
hear
cup.
you. You know,
I know you got a surprise with me on your cup too. Okay, yeah. Like I said, I like AJ Brown, man. I think it was a good pick, and again, I love that cup. So, uh, let me ask you this real quick, and we'll go ahead and we'll start to close this down. But Mike Vrabel, is this his 3rd year now? How many years has he been there now? 3, 4?
yeah, I think it's his third. Yeah,
Okay. I loved Fisher, man. I loved Jeff Fisher. I thought he was awesome.
I did too.
Uh,
Yeah.
I know things just didn't work out with him, but I thought he was great. I didn't think you'd have a coach that I liked, but I'll tell you what, Vrabel's obviously a Buckeye. He looks like the real deal. Is Vrabel going? How is he going to be the coach in 15 years still?
I think so. I mean, listen, we're no different than any other team. We want to win, right? And winning cures a lot of stuff. When you're losing, man, it just magnifies everything. And that little 4-game losing skid that we were on when Mariota was behind center, that was rough, man. That was rough watching his press conferences just because you knew. I mean, he was getting smoked. I mean, every time he went to the podium, he was getting smoked. I give him credit, dude. He stood his ground. He stayed the course. He said, "Hey, listen, we're working. We're preparing. We have a plan. We're going to stick to that plan. We're going to get better. We're going to coach him up. We're going to do what we need to do." And it's exactly what happened. And no one in the right mind thought that he would ever bench Mariota. Nobody. I mean, Mariota's on the freaking building. His picture is on our stadium. No way in
Yeah,
the world did we think that he would get benched, and he did, and it worked out well.
it's kind of crazy because everybody knows. I mean, when he played at Oregon, even all you heard about was how great of a guy that Mariota was, and the upstanding class that he brings to his professional, the way he plays, and even off the field. Do you think he got a little bit of time with Vrabel just because of that? I mean, people like him. Nobody wanted to bench him, right? Just like you said, the way you feel. I'm sure the coaches felt the same way, right? It was almost just like, I love you, but I gotta move on.
Well, and I think there's a little bit of that. That's a little bit of a respect and a little bit of, okay, we're going to make sure that we've given you every opportunity to succeed, every opportunity, every chance to be the quarterback that we all thought you could be. And at some point, though, you just got to say enough's enough, right? Okay, we've got enough sample size. We feel like you're the guy, or we feel like that you're not the guy. And then they made a tough call. It usually doesn't happen like that in the middle of a season, or maybe even early in the season like that when it's a franchise quarterback. But it sure did this time.
Yeah, and so what you're saying is taking 9 years of being mediocre is a bad thing. like 9 years of a quarterback who can't win a playoff game is too long, right? So,
I feel like you got some deep rooted depression going on there
it's
with your
about to
little
change, baby. It's about to change.
redheaded buddy up there in Bengal country. You
Yeah,
know,
well, the redhead's gone. The blonde's coming in, bud.
well, I
The
don't
blonde
think he's
bomber.
gone. He's still
So,
there, isn't he? They haven't got rid
yeah.
of him, have they?
Nobody wants him. That's a problem. You gotta find someone willing to take him. I'll be honest with you. And again, some things just don't fit for people. I mean, it's not like Andy Dalton can't throw for 300 yards a game. I don't know why the Patriots wouldn't jump on him for something. I mean, we'd probably take a Tic Tac and a couple Snickers bars for him right now. But just he's a better starter than anyone you got. Stidham is your starter. There's no way Dalton isn't better than him. I mean, you're going to get him for pennies on the dollar. I mean, Dalton will win you some games, and once you get to the playoffs, you might as well just pack your bags before the game starts. But he might get you to the playoffs.
Well, I think he's the third or fourth best available free agent quarterback right now. I mean, in terms of ranking, right? You got Jameis, you got Cam, and then Dalton, right? I don't know if there's anybody else in between them, but I'm going to tell you, of those three, I'd draft a quarterback because I don't like any of them. I don't care for Cam at all. What Winston can't figure out which team he wants to throw the football to. And poor Andy. I don't know, man. I've tried to follow the Bengals a little bit, and it's a little painful. I mean, it's just not there.
I mean, I've never seen a quarterback. I know everybody wants to put it on our offensive line. I've never watched a quarterback take so many. I wish someone would do this stat for me and pull it up. Anyone who watches this video, you're welcome to send this back to me if I'm wrong. I'll bet you he took more sacks after sitting in the pocket over 4 seconds than any quarterback in the NFL in the last 5 or 6 years. I would guarantee it. He sits back there in the pocket, and the blitzes come right up the gut, and he still doesn't throw the ball. And I don't understand it. I mean, throw the ball away, make a play. That's what your job is. He will just destroy the offense. He will not throw it. He will take sacks. Might have something to do with the fact he can't see over the offensive line. He's not tall enough, so he's got to have the passing lanes. But
maybe he was rooming with Mariota in college somewhere down the road, because that's exactly what Marcus would do, man. You go to the games and receivers you could look out there and they'd be wide open all over the field, and they just wouldn't throw the ball to him.
Yeah.
And you just sit there and ask yourself, why can he not see the field? Is he afraid to make the throw? Does he not feel like he can make the throw? Nobody knows the answer to that, I don't think. But it sounds like it's time to cut bait, though.
I mean, it is. And I think the one thing that I love about Joey Burrow is the confidence that he has to make every throw on the football field. Will change that mindset a little bit. He'll make an attempt to make that throw. He's not going to take the sack. He's going to try to make the play. And you got to have a quarterback like that. You got to have a quarterback who has a short-term memory, willing to make plays. If you throw a pick, that's okay. But don't take sacks and put yourselves in 3rd and 17s because you're not going anywhere. So I think Joey's going to change our franchise. I really believe that. I think he changes it up for the better. And yeah. I think we're heading in the right direction. And I think Mike Brown has made some insane moves in free agency, which we never do. I'll tell you right now, I've never been here in April and been like, wow, look at the Bengals and what they're doing. I've never done it in like 30 years. And this year I'm like, wow, look what we're doing. So, I mean, hey, they're wanting to win and they're wanting to put people around him. So it's going to be exciting.